53 minutes past the hour. We're starting to see some change going on across the Atlantic Basin and through here. And our first hint at that change came with all of a sudden Fernand yesterday. Came out of nowhere, it seemed, and has moved on into Mexico and Veracruz. And unfortunately, Spanish news is reporting 13 people may have lost their lives as a result of that. So we're waiting certainly on confirmation of that. But a horrible situation when you take all that tropical moisture and bang it up against the mountains there. But just look at the convection down through here that's going on, both in the East Pacific and across the Western Atlantic. And there's actually a reason for that. And we're going to show it to you here in just a second. The good news is once Fernand has moved on shore, it is now a remnant. Invest 95E, both of these will probably be adding more moisture into the southwest this week. As a matter of fact, you can really see this on the water vapor image. I mean, look at this huge plume of moisture here. This is all going off to the north and west and replacing what was Evo's moisture and is now pushing on to the north and east out of the way a little bit. So we'll get a little bit of a break and then more moisture coming in. So here's the last advisory from NHC, 30 miles per hour, 1,009 millibars moving to the west-northwest at 7. There's still some convection offshore, so that doesn't mean just because we've seen a last advisory on this doesn't mean there's going to be more showers and thunderstorms. You see these just sitting offshore here. These are going to drift onshore around the Tampico area and from time to time produce some very, very heavy rain. So be careful. There's Veracruz, there's Tampico to the north. You can still see this rush of moisture here, which is coming onshore post center now. And this has definitely helped us out in terms of bringing some moisture into Texas. This has been a very dry region of late, from Houston down to Corpus Christi. And if you remember last week, we had that old remnant low or mid-level disturbance, if you will, that's kind of pushed all the way across the northern Gulf. That, in addition to this surge in moisture here across the western Atlantic and Gulf, has definitely helped things out. All right, this is about as active as I've seen what we call the monsoon trough be all season long. So things are percolating here in the Atlantic. What I mean by that is an area where the northeast winds meet the southerly winds here, so you get convergence going on. There's a couple of weak low pressure systems along that'll move along. If they break north and you see more convection starting to fire on the northern side of these waves, they could potentially do something, certainly as they head into the Caribbean, but it's certainly something to watch. But still, our nemesis in terms of the tropical development here in what is called the MDR, the main development region here out here in the eastern Atlantic, has been dry air. And you can see it once again becoming the dominant feature here. All right, let's see what's going on the African coast, because this is really kind of key here to what we will deal with perhaps late this week and then into early next week. And what we saw a couple of days ago, we've been talking about this. Brian Norcross has been doing updates on it in terms of this area of enhanced thunderstorm activity. We can watch this kind of move around the globe, and we can focus in on it going back 2 days ago and look at what's going to be happening with it, first of all, as it heads into the Atlantic. So right now you can see it's sitting right over the western Gulf and the eastern Pacific. So perhaps that's why Fernand fired up pretty quickly this weekend. That's a pretty good reason for that. There's been a lot of new technology and a lot of new studies on this, so this is kind of the hot topic right now, this MJO and Kelvin wave phase. And this moves across the MDR, the main development region in the Atlantic, coming up as we head into later this week and then early next week. So what does that mean as these waves come off the coast? Well, let's take a look at them. There's actually one now which is just about to get potentially an invest from the Hurricane Center. That actually is right here, and it tries to develop it. Again, remember, we've seen this kind of enhancement in the upper levels of the atmosphere, this favorable area of winds work its way across the Atlantic now. So this is a model going out to next Monday, and there's another spin off of the Cape Verde Islands. So perhaps this main development region becomes active, guys, starting late this week into early September. This doesn't put up goalposts, but perhaps a little bit more activity in this region. Back to you.